In this video, I'm going to show you how I trim out the exterior of a window. The first thing you're going to want to do is take your width and height measurements. You're also going to want to measure the width of your side trim. For your header piece, you want to take the width of your window measurement and add 2 times the width of your side trim. This will make your header extend over top of your side pieces. For your side pieces, you're going to take the height of your window and add an extra 1/2 inch. Here I'm marking out the header piece. You're going to want to come in off the end, the width of your side trim, and you're going to want to remove 1/2 inch of material out of the back. I like to remove only a 1/2 inch of material. This way, when you side up to it, you're going to actually cover this half lap joint, so you won't be able to see it at all. Here I'm laying out the side pieces. So you take the height of your window, measure up, make a mark, and square across there. This represents the shoulder of the half lap. Then you're going to want to flip the piece on its side and measure in a 1/2 inch from the back. And you're going to want to remove the remaining amount of material. Then you're going to want to set the height of your blade on your table saw to 1/2 inch. This is the header piece here. You need to line up the end of your cut with the end of the half lap on this header. It's kind of hard to explain, but you see there me marking where I need to stop my cut. So I have a mark on the top of my fence of where I need to stop my cut, which in tune stops the cut where I need it. And here I am just moving the saw over and flipping the piece of trim, and that's cutting out the backside. And here I'm just repeating the process just on the other end of the header. And after you're done with the table saw, it's going to leave you with a little bit of chisel work. I know some people are going to say you could do this all with a router, and that's true. This is just my preferred method. I've done it both ways, and this is just what I've come accustomed to doing. And after you square it up, that's what you're left with. Here's the side piece of trim. Here I'm just cutting where the shoulder is on the half lap and flipping it around and finishing that cut on the other side. And then you just come in from the end and remove the material with a chisel. It pops off real easy. Then you just need to clean that up a little bit, and that is your side piece. Again, this can all be done with a router. I just prefer this method. It tends to be a little less dusty. Then when you're done that, this is what you're left with. And here I'm just priming all the ends with the spray paint. I know most people would just nail by eye, but I prefer to lay out where I'm going to be nailing and actually pre-drill. This just ensures even spacing on your nails. Then I go ahead and pre-drill all the holes. I'm making enough trim for 2 windows, but you only are going to see 1 in this video. This building is getting all new siding, which requires an airspace, so it's all getting vertical strapping. This means I have to strap out around all the windows for the trim to lay on. These were full windows with a nailing flange and have a weatherproofing flashing detail over top.
Yeah, thanks. Nice. Was it LDR? Yeah. Is it LDR? Is it LDR?
I will be doing several videos on exterior trim and siding, as well as soffit, fascia, and much more. So subscribe if you'd like to see that. Here I'm just laying down a bead of caulking around the window and pushing the trim into it. After the trim's installed, I'll come back and put a second bead on top of that. You'll see it at the end of the video. To fasten the trim, I'm using 3-inch galvanized oval heads. I also put a bead of caulking in the joint of the half lap. I only nail the edge closest to the window at first. This allows me to shim the outside edges, lining all the corners up. Anytime you're dealing with a window with a nailing flange that's narrower than your trim, it's going to roll the outside edge of your trim when you nail it. This will misalign your side piece of trim with your header on the outside corner. And here I'm just repeating the process. If you have a question about anything you've seen in the video, leave a comment in the comment section. Here you see me shimming the outside edge out to line up the 2 pieces of trim. I start at the top first and go all the way to the bottom, and then I shim out the middle to match. Then I do the header in the same fashion, making sure that it's not rolled back on the top. Above the top piece of trim will be a piece of drip cap flashing. That fake brick siding will be removed and house wrap will come down on top of the drip cap. Here I'm cutting the sill. Those 2 will get primed ends. I pre-drill holes up through the bottom of the sill. Screws will go through here and fasten into the side pieces of trim. A bead of caulk is applied to the bottom of the window and the bottom of the trim. Before the siding is installed, I will put a bead of caulking around the perimeter of the window and then push the siding into it. After the siding is installed, I will come back over top and apply another bead of caulking. Here I'm just putting the second bead on the outside of the window and along the bottom as well. And here's the final result.